I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic. I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic. Say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and welcome to another live broadcast. You had many places you could be tonight, but chose to be here with me, and for that I am forever grateful. Thank you very, very much. We have a lot to get into tonight, so let's kick it off, folks. President Biden is privately anxious about the criminal investigation into his son Hunter Biden, according to a new report that came out yesterday that talked to close White House allies. You can see it in his eyes. You can see it in his shoulder slump, one Biden confidant told Politico. He's so worried about Hunter, and we're worried it could consume him. I know when it hurts, former Senator Chris Dodd, a Democrat, told the outlet. He doesn't talk about it much. Most of us don't. He has a real human decency, and a lot of it is created and is scary and worried. The White House has long stressed that the president does not interfere in matters before the Justice Department, Politico wrote, but privately, fears about the upcoming campaign and potential criminal trial have become an ever-present weight on the president, according to those that are close to him. The elder Biden has told friends he worries that his son could even backslide back into addiction on crack cocaine. Hunter made national headlines after he appeared on Capitol Hill yesterday to give a press conference where he lashed out at Republicans. Hunter notably refused to sit for a deposition before Congress, instead declaring that his father, President Biden, was never financially involved in his business dealings. They have taken the light of my father's love for me and done their best to turn it into darkness, Hunter told the reporters. They have no shame, he said. The president's aides have suffered from Biden's outburst when his son Hunter becomes the subject of conversation, according to the article in Politico. The 81-year-old president is deeply sensitive about his son and has barked at aides who have talked about Hunter Biden as a liability, or those who wonder if he should be accompanying the president on the road, Politico reported. Many aides now chose to avoid the subject altogether for fear of triggering the president's temper, according to 2 of the 5 confidants that came forward. For example, no one raised whether it was a good idea for Hunter to attend a June state dinner for India's prime minister just days after accepting a plea deal. Hunter has expressed private concerns that he might have to flee the country if Trump were to be elected president again, according to the 2 people that were in this interview. But Democrats continue to worry the Hunter Biden saga could do damage to his father's 2024 prospects, Politico reported. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre has repeatedly said President Biden is proud of his son when pressed on the matter. So, normally, regardless if you're a Republican or a Democrat, I would show sympathy. And I know as a man of faith and as a Christian, I should. But after everything that Joe Biden has said about Donald Trump and Republicans and conservatives and Trump supporters, and every action he is behind with the Department of Justice and the FBI attacking us, well, I could give 2 shits about his pain and suffering now. Boston Democrat mayor has apologized for causing offense with a holiday party invite that excluded white people. Michelle Wu drew criticism yesterday after her aide sent a holiday party invite to all members of the Boston City Council for a party titled Electees of Color Holiday Party, even though 7 of the officials are white. Wu told reporters yesterday that the invite was not meant to be sent to white council members, who had their invitations then rescinded about 15 minutes after the original email was sent. We had individual conversations with everyone so people understand that it was truly just an honest mistake that went out in typing email field error, she told reporters. I think we've been in a position at one point where an email went out, everybody has, and there was a mistake in the receipt, she said, according to WCVB in Boston. It is my intention that we can, again, be a city that lives our values and create space of all kinds of communications of people to come together, she added. Not quite sure what that has to do with being a racist. According to a local outlet, minority-only party continued as planned on Wednesday, while Wu's office has plans to host a separate event for all the elected officials and members of her cabinet on a different day. The city's first Asian American mayor defended the event, saying, I've been a part of a group that represents elected officials of color across all different fields and levels of government in Massachusetts. A group that has been in a place for more than a decade, and the opportunity to create a space for people to celebrate and rotate who the host will be. Whose aide, Dennis DeSantis, who sent out the invite, tried to smooth things over in a follow-up email prior to the party. I want to apologize for my previous email regarding a holiday party for tomorrow, DeSantis wrote to the city council members. I did send that to everybody by accident, and I apologize that the email may have offended or come across as so. Sorry for any confusion this may have caused. The invite was criticized yesterday by one white member of the city council as unfortunate and divisive, according to the Boston Herald. However, Black City Councilor Brian Worley held a different opinion and defended the invitation, suggesting the holiday party was merely a way to represent all kinds of special groups in the Boston government. So let me get this straight. A city council that is paid by taxpayer dollars thinks it is okay to segregate white members from all the others because white, in their opinion, is not a color. Imagine if this would have been the other way around. Only white people can attend the event and not other races. And that, my friends, is the true definition of racism. And everyone who attended that party, to include those who organize it, are racist bigots. You couldn't make this shit up if you tried. It's absolutely nuts. Think about that. Any Republican mayor holds a Christmas party and says black people aren't allowed to come, or Asian people, or Muslims. No one but white people can attend. The outrage that'd be happening right now. Speaking of outrage, former President Barack Obama is currently receiving backlash for a new Netflix film, which he served as a consulate on over a scene that openly bashes white people by warning against trusting them.
According to Newsweek, Obama, who previously signed a Netflix deal to produce television series and films for the streaming giant and launched the Higher Ground production company with Michelle Obama, recently worked as a consultant on the film. It's titled Leave the World Behind, which was directed by Sam Esmail, was based on Roman Alman's novel, which was also titled Leave the World Behind. Netflix symbols on the movie states, starring Julia Roberts, Mahershala Ali, Ethan Hawke. The apocalypse thriller from Mr. Robot creator Sam Esmail tells the story of two families as they fight for survival, aimed at an inexplicable blackout. Both Barack Obama and Michelle Obama are listed as producers for the film, according to the Western Journal. The controversy surrounds the film's center around a scene where a daughter tells her father, "I'm asking you to remember that if the world falls apart, trust should not be doted out easily to everyone or anyone, especially to white people." A video clip of this was shared on Libs of TikTok on X, formerly Twitter, alongside the caption, Next flick film called Leave the World Behind, produced by the Obamas, includes a scene demonizing white people. White people are the only group you're allowed and celebrated to be racist towards, and it will put into the movies by the most influential people. In Wokelessness also shared the video clip from Leave the World Behind on social media, questioning the film for potential featuring predictive outcome programming by centering the plot around a cyber attack that cripples the United States, and warning that the Obamas were able to sneak in a scene bashing white people. According to Newsweek, the Obamas agreed to help produce the film last week, allowing the former president to offer his advice regarding the portrayal and events in the movie. Vanity Fair reported that Esmail consulted with Obama, developed the script for the movie in an attempt to help ground the story. He and a lot of others notes about the characters and the empathy we would have for them. Esmail told Vanity Fair regarding Obama's involvement, a consultant and producer of the film, "I have to say he is a bigger movie lover, and he wasn't just notes about things that were from his background. He was given notes as a fan of the book, and he wanted to see them really good on film." Tells you all you need to know about Barack Obama and his wife, Michael. Colin Kaepernick, or as I like to refer to him, Colin Kaepernappy, created a firestorm in the NFL when he decided to take a knee during the national anthem in an effort to protest against what he perceived as racial injustice in the United States. Well, now, former San Francisco 49ers star Terrell Owens said the decision to take a knee during the Star Spangled Banner was not going to reverberate across the NFL and extend outside the football boundaries, as well as create a feverish backlash. "I never would have thought it would have created the firestorm that it has," Owens said during a recent interview on the Jason Lee Show. "Never thought this guy would never step back on the football field again because of that. But it really sheds light on really kind of how this world works and really how a lot of white people see us black people. For so many years, we've tried to voice that. I mean, 400 plus something years, we've been telling you these are some of the things that have been going on, and who would have thought that taking a knee would bring all of this back to life. When Lee mentioned Jay-Z partnering with the NFL to help the league's entertainment sphere in the wake of Kaepernick's protest, Owen said he did not like that happening. "I don't like it because you're addressing it at that time, whether the moment or what it's going on. Where's the condition of really trying to recite or bring some types of solution to it," Owen said, "not just for the moment." And it continues. Just so you know, it's kind of difficult to read verbatim exactly what he said, and that's how this was copied for me, because he doesn't speak in normal sentences. I think it's a Ebonics or something. I'm not sure. Ebonics. It's not just that moment and you address it as it sweeps under the rug after a few weeks of a couple of months, and then, like you said, it's business back to usual. It has to be continued effort to rectify some of these things. Kaepernick, who has not worked in the NFL since the 2016 season, thought he was held workout, although he's held workouts, has been in videos keeping his skills sharp and telling his fans that he is staying ready. He reportedly told the New York Jets recently he would be willing to play for the team after Aaron Rodgers suffered an injury, but is yet to be hired. So, just so there's no misunderstanding, and obviously there is, the problem with taking a knee during the national anthem, first off, that's your constitutional right. And I, as a military veteran, fought for you to take the right to do whatever stupid shit you want to do, as long as it doesn't break the law. That being said, number one, it was based on a no-merit bullshit theory that black people were being held down in America from doing the same as white people. A narrative spun by multi-million-dollar NFL players that are so suppressed. Number two, it was based on a no-merit bullshit theory that police officers were racist. And they wake up every morning as they get dressed for their job, or if it's the night shift, as they're putting on their uniform, they're thinking to themselves, how many young, innocent black youth can I shoot and kill today? Number four, it placed a huge target on the back of police officers that is still in effect today. Number five, it turned the youth of America who looked up to NFL players as their idols against police and white people for no reason at all, because it wasn't true. And number six, it was a disgrace to every American who ever served in the United States military and the families for those who fought and died for our flags and our freedoms. While you have the right in America to say and do whatever the fuck you want under the norms and the guides of legalness and the justice system, I, for one, even though I serve for your rights, do not believe you have the right to lie, blatantly lie and make up shit that will spread viral across the country to young minds who then believe that shit and then turn around and take action to hurt people, such as police officers. That should be illegal. And I, for one, have called on Napperhecky or Kaepernick or whatever you want to call him to be charged for that, for inciting violence against law enforcement officers. Little good news. U.S. Army Sergeant Michelle Hay, who served with the 173rd Airborne Brigade as a cavalry scout, has made history by becoming the first active duty female to pass the Army Sniper School and qualify for service in the elite role. Sergeant Hay passed the Army Sniper course last month at Fort Moore, Georgia. Her accomplishment marks the first time an active duty female had passed the rigorous course, coming after a National Guardsman, or woman, from Montana became the first woman overall to earn the elite qualification. My nickname growing up was Sniper, Hay said. Her desire to live out the nickname led her to the Army, where she made it through basic training while qualifying as an expert on the M4 rifle. She then passed through the Army's Airborne School, serving with the 173rd before finally getting her opportunity to attend sniper school. I grew up shooting, mostly rifles and handguns, on my family's ranches in Rockland, California and Medford, Oregon, Sergeant Hay said. But the nickname came from the fact that I could find things really fast, similar to how a sniper does target detection. Giving a rigorous Army training, and especially at sniper course, Sergeant Hay recalled that some had doubts about her dream along the way, which she used as a motivation. A close friend of mine told me I'll never make it in the Army, and there is no way I will ever become a sniper, she said. Needless to say, that person is no longer a part of my life. But now that I look back at it, I really do appreciate the motivation, but the road wasn't always easy. Sergeant Hay noted the amount of practice it took to qualify as an expert on her M4. Nevertheless, leaders recognized Sergeant Hay's potential early on and helped her reach her goal of becoming a sniper. Sergeant First Class Anwan Jones, who is Sergeant Hay's platoon sergeant, said Sergeant Hay is just an incredible non-commissioned officer that comes to work every day with the intention of making not only her team better, but also the entire organization. Sergeant Hay's leaders eventually helped prepare her for sniper school and its strict selection process. Hopeful candidates are typically experienced soldiers who have demonstrated superior marksmanship skills. There are also strict standards for physical and mental fitness, with snipers facing some of the most grueling tasks during Army operations. Once selected, Sergeant Hay went through rigorous training on multiple weapon platforms and sniper skills, including stalking, concealment, intelligence gathering, land navigation, and survival skills. The rapid target engagement and intelligence reporting were two of the toughest areas for me, she said. I also struggled with the very last test where we had to engage long-distance targets while sitting on our rucksacks. That position threw off my balance. Nevertheless, Sergeant Hay powered through to graduate and qualify as a sniper, a moment that was made even better when her family was able to travel from their home in California to attend the ceremony. Due to COVID travel restrictions, her family was unable to attend her basic training graduation and her advanced individual graduation, AIT graduation. Then I went straight to Germany to join my unit. So it was really nice to see them, and I'm grateful for their support. Her next assignment will take her to Anchorage, Alaska, where she will serve with the 1st Squadron Airborne 40th Cavalry Regiment, though her goals won't stop at sniper school. Sergeant Hay said she is now setting her sights on becoming a jump master, while others have encouraged her to attend Ranger School. Along the way, she continued to have the admiration of her current platoon sergeant. It's great to hear stories about paratroopers doing great things, her platoon sergeant said, but especially when it's a female, defying the odds and proving women are just as capable to do anything that they have the motivation and drive to win. Sergeant Hay, this old Army Staff Sergeant is very proud of your accomplishments, and I say congratulations. Job well done. You earned it, soldier. So now we're going to go from a good heartwarming story to what the fuck? Researchers with NASA and those that stare into the space and determine what's happening out there have determined what they believe is the precise date when an asteroid would potentially impact the Earth, carrying with it power equivalent to that of 22 atomic bombs. This celestial object, named Bennu, B-E-N-N-U, Bennu, approaches our planet every 6 years. Now, scientists believe that September 24th, 2182 could be the date when there is a risk of collision with Earth and the asteroid. Despite the potential date of the apocalypse event being far off, NASA is currently engaged in intense efforts to deflect the asteroid, and is in the final phase of its mission. 7 years ago, the American Space Agency launched a probe towards the asteroid with the goal of collecting samples with the hope that the gathered information could help prevent a possible catastrophe encounter. Asteroids have hit the Earth many times through the years. In fact, almost every 24 hours, one enters into Earth's gravitational pull, and most of it, if not all of it, disintegrate, coming into our atmosphere. But nothing like this asteroid has been seen on planet Earth since the one that killed off the dinosaurs. Although this impact will not affect any of us currently living on this planet, our great-grandchildren will be the ones that take this hit. We're only talking, do the math real quick, 152 years from now? Pretty scary. Glad it ain't tomorrow. Although, if it was, I'll be happy to part on out of here, because I do believe that I'm going to a wonderful place. It's a whole lot better than this one. Edward Lang. Probably never heard of his name before until now. He's from New York. He's one of the many that were charged in connection to the U.S. January 6th incident, and is now celebrating the U.S. Supreme Court's decision to hear a case similar to his that could delay former President Donald Trump's federal election trial. More than 1,230 people have been charged in relation to January 6th, including Edward Jacob Lang is actually his full name. Lang was arrested at his home in Newburgh 10 days after January 6th, after he posted pictures and videos on social media of himself outside the Capitol on January 6th and not involved in any criminal activity. He has been accused of a slew of crimes, including obstruction of an official proceeding, which is a felony. He pleaded not guilty to all counts. Lang and two other men face charges relating to their alleged participation on January 6th, who are appealing to the Supreme Court. Lang, Garrett Miller, and Joseph Fisher have appealed to the Supreme Court, arguing that federal prosecutors overreached in their scope of obstruction law. Yesterday, the Supreme Court decided to hear the case. Last year, a federal district court granted a motion to dismiss a portion of the indictment brought under the obstruction law. Judge Carl J. Nichols said that the law required defendants to take some action with respect to a document, record, or other objects, but said this was missing from Fisher's conduct on January 6th. Because these three guys didn't do anything, just like many of those that were charged and are in prison right now, rotting away for 20, 30, or life. They didn't do any harm to anything. Many didn't even go in the fucking Capitol. However, the U.S. Supreme Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit reversed Nichols' decision. Lang's lawyer, Norm Pitts, told Newsweek via email, "We are, of course, delighted the Supreme Court will hear the case. We hope to stop this Department of Justice from over-criminalizing the January 6th prosecutions. If the court rules that the obstruction law does not apply to January 6th, it could be disastrous for the Department of Justice Special Counsel Jack Smith's case against Trump, which resets on the allegation the former president incited the violence on January 6th. This could put the brakes on the Trump prosecution unless the Department of Justice drops the 1,512 count in the case. Since Jumpin' Jack Smith is hell-bent on trying Trump immediately, let's see what the Department of Justice does," Pats told Newsweek. Trump's trial is set to begin in March of 2024. but the court's decision on the obstruction law could further complicate the case, thus delaying that trial, at least until after the election. Kind of the big news that's floating around all over social media right now, especially on X, formerly Twitter. The House Oversight Committee is calling for Representative Eric Swalwell, Democrat, California, to be punished by Congress for helping Hunter Biden yesterday morning. Swalwell had reserved a spot outside the Senate side of the U.S. Capitol, where Hunter Biden later made a brief statement to the press before skipping a planned deposition of the House Oversight Committee. Nobody gets to do that, Representative Andy Briggs, Republican Arizona, said to Fox News Digital of Hunter Biden's deliberate absence. He was sent subpoenas. He was told to appear. We're going to vote to hold him in contempt. We probably need to vote Eric Swalwell in contempt because the rumor is that Mr. Swalwell's aide and abetted him by setting up facilities so he could have his press conference across the way. Swalwell admitted to Politico yesterday that he had actually reserved the spot for Hunter Biden, telling the outlet there is absolutely zero evidence Hunter or his father acted corruptly. So I'm going to just sit quietly and let MAGA Republicans do Trump's bidding in Congress. Let me stop there for just a second. Dear Republicans in Congress, it will do absolutely no good, zero, to just slap this little bitch on the hand, or any of them for that matter. You have the power to expel them from Congress. Now pick up your big boy pants and take care of business. House Republicans are seeking to hear from Hunter Biden and the president's brother, James Biden, as part of their probe into whether President Biden committed an impeachable offense. They suspect that he used his position as vice president in the Obama administration to enrich himself and his family. Lawmakers wanted to hear from Hunter Biden in detail about his involvement in foreign business in the China and Ukraine. Because of what? The laptop. He is also currently under federal investigation over tax and firearms charges. If the House holds Hunter Biden in contempt over skipping his deposition, which Briggs has called for, not Briggs, the conservative Republican argued that proceed should compel Attorney General Merrick Garland to charge him. That ain't never going to fucking happen. That's why I said you got to expel him. He went after Steve Bannon and several others. He should go after Mr. Biden as well, Biggs said, citing Bannon's contempt charge for failing to cooperate with the now defunct January 6th Select Committee investigation. We were all sitting here. We had a court reporter there. Democrats were there. Republicans were there. We were ready. Mr. Biden chose not to come. Defiant Hunter Biden told reporters yesterday morning, for 6 years, I've been the target of the unrelentless Trump attack machine, shouting, "Where's Hunter?" Well, here I am. I'm here to testify at a public hearing today to answer any of the comments, legitimate questions. Republicans do not want an open process where Americans can see their tactics, expose their baseless inquiry to hear what they have to say, he said. Okay. And that's the talking points of many on the left right now on social media. Check this out, you wingnuts. And no disrespect to wingnuts. That's how the process works first. That's how the process worked with the impeachment for President Trump. You interview them first in a closed-door setting before you hold an open hearing setting. Swalwell, wow, you forgot how the process works? The same process that you helped facilitate? That's the norm of how it's done. Hunter, you were going to get your day in court. Not only were you going to get your day in a public hearing after the private hearing, but those in charge of it, Comer and Jordan, have already said they would release your transcript in the private immediately afterwards to the public. But that still wasn't good enough. You showed up there for a dog and pony show to spew absolute nonsense. But yet, where was your whining and bitching when Donald Trump was going through the exact same thing you're going through right now? And oh, by the way, he's still going through it. No, it's called hypocrisy. And you and all your Democrat friends up on Capitol Hill are a bunch of fucking hypocrites. I've been saying for years now, and even more so since the Hamas attack on Israel on October 7th, that the two people in our Congress that are terrorist sympathizers, Ilhan Omar and Rashid Tlaib, need to be removed for their ongoing hate speech and inciting violence. They need to be expelled from Congress. The House has the power to do that. Once again, I repeat myself, the House has the power to expel them for inciting violence against the Jewish communities in America, and before that, against white people. But yet, they're afraid to touch them because they're Muslims. That's absolutely insane. If you're unwilling to do your job and take on hate, then get the fuck out. Resign from Congress and let somebody go in there that's got a set of balls to do the work for we the people. Well, now we can add another Democrat to that list to go alongside Ilhan Omar and Rashid Tlaib. Oh, he's a white male too. Pennsylvania Democrat, Senator Bob Casey. Heaped praise on the group whose leader recently made controversial remarks about Hamas' brutal invasion of Israel by previously hurling one of its local chapters dedicated to diversity and equity and its commitment to fight discrimination and prejudice in society. Naheed Awad, the executive director and co-founder for the Council on American Islamic Relations, also known as CAIR, said he was happy to see the October 7th Hamas invasion of Israel and that the Jewish state did not have a right to self-defense because it was an occupying power. And I reported on that just a few weeks ago. Awad made the continuous remarks at the 16th Annual Convention for Palestine in the U.S. on November 24th, sparking widespread outrage and even forcing the White House to distance itself from the organization by scrubbing the group from its website as committed partner in fight against anti-Semitism. Casey previously honored the Philadelphia CAIR chapter over its continued work. Now, back in March of 2016, he penned a celebratory letter for its 10th anniversary for the diversity and equity efforts and commitment to fight against discrimination and prejudice in our society. He said in the letter, "It brings me great pleasure to extend warmest regards and congratulations as you celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Philadelphia chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations. This anniversary is a remarkable reminder of your organization's dedication and commitment to diversity and equity. Our nation has benefited throughout its history from the unique perspectives and experiences of many cultures and has been long characterized by people of diverse faiths and backgrounds participating their beliefs," he continued. "Great strides have been made in the fight for social and political equality for all Americans, but there remains to be much more to be done. The work of CARE to advance the well-being of Muslim Americans and fight against rising discrimination and prejudice in our society stands as treatment to the brave work ethics and ideas of everyone involved. Please accept my congratulations and best wishes for the continued success of the Philadelphia chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations. Thank you all for the work you have done and all you continue to do, he concluded. Casey's ties to the group continued in the years after that message. In 2019, he invited their top representative to moderate an event, the Jerusalem Post reported. And in 2021, Casey gave a member of the organization Philadelphia a shout out in a Facebook post. The Democrat senator now, after being noticed for what he has said and done and called out on his support for terrorists, is condemning Awad's comments when contacted about ties to the group by news media outlets. On October 7th, there was a brutal and vicious attack on innocent Israeli citizens, he told Fox News Digital. I unequivocally condemn the anti-Semitism and hateful comments made by Carr's leadership and any comments that celebrate acts of Hamas terrorists. Well, sir, it's a little too late. You support terrorists, and the good people in your state need to remember that when they go to the booths and vote and send your terror-supporting ass out. I have reported through the years that every time we have a Democrats in charge anywhere, doesn't matter if they're city council members, if they're mayors, if they're governors, if they're in Congress, House or the Senate, or they're in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in the White House, that they go after gun rights each and every way they possibly can. The Supreme Court has allowed an Illinois law banning high-powered semi-automatic weapons to remain in place. The Supreme Court. In an order earlier today, with no explanation of its decision, the Supreme Court denied a request from the National Association of Gun Rights, which asked for a preliminary injunction. The ban, signed by Democrat Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker in January, includes penalties for individuals who carry or possess, manufactures, sell, delivers, imports, or purchases any assault weapon. What's an assault weapon? You want to share that with us? Or 50 caliber rifle. The law also includes statutory penalties for people who sell, manufacture, deliver, import, possess, or purchase any assault weapon attachment or 50 caliber cartridges. These idiots don't even realize what you have to have in your possession to get your hands on 50 caliber machine guns. Any kit or tools used to increase the fire rate of a semi-automatic weapon are also included in the ban. And the law includes a limited purchase of certain magazines. After Thursday's ruling, the law will stay in place while it goes back to the lower courts. A 7th District U.S. Court of Appeals panel in November also refused a request to block the law. In August, the law was upheld by the Illinois Supreme Court in a 4-3 decision. People who previously possessed guns that would otherwise be banned by law can still own them only if they get them registered in a special registry with the state prior to January 1st, 2024. So all of you that own AR-15s and AK-47s or any rifle, I guess, I mean, what's an assault weapon? Define it for me. Basically, unless you have, I don't know, what they used to have back in the early days of civilization. Maybe if you have a slingshot, that's not considered an assault weapon, or a musket rifle. Maybe that's not considered an assault weapon. I don't know. But that's a broad statement that many types of weapons could obviously fall under. It is an attempt to strip away the Second Amendment rights of American citizens. Period. That's what it is. And things like this pop up all over the country. It's not new to Illinois. It's in California. It's in New York City. It's in Washington, D.C. Anywhere Democrats are in charge, they find every loophole they can to stop law-abiding citizens from protecting themselves and their families. So there's two ways you can fight this. Number one, you can vote these pieces of shit out of office. Or number two, move out of that state. Get out of there. Pack your shit, call 1-800-U-Haul, and move. And if people started leaving in droves from these areas, like they're doing in California right now, by the way, California has the biggest exodus of human beings in the history of America going on right now. People are going, I've had it. Fuck this. I can't do this anymore. They're killing us. California only caters to the multimillionaires and billionaires and the tech companies. Everybody under that, you're a peasant. And people have had enough of paying $8 for gas, being told that they all have to buy electric cars soon and they're going to be eliminated diesel fuel and gasoline cars on the roads of California in the next 10 years. Taxes paid, fucking half of your income gone, the cost of goods skyrocketing, and the assault of your Second Amendment rights. Get out of there. Pack up and move. And if you don't have the ability to do that, and you legitimately are hurting, contact me. I'll be happy to start a GoFundMe page so you can get the money to move the fuck out. Because that's what American patriots do. We help each other out. As you've seen me do many times over the years, when our fellow American patriots are in dire situations and are hurting due to storms or whatever, financial difficulties. They were laid off, they were fired, whatever. I've stepped up and I've done things to help them with fundraisers. And in my past, people have done that for me. When we were hit by two back-to-back devastating hurricanes within 30 days of each other, Hurricane Laura and Hurricane Delta over in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and then after that, a massive flood, people put together, you guys did, a GoFundMe page to help us when you found out that our insurance company filed bankruptcy. And we were just fucked, along with thousands more. Now, I then took that money and turned around and I gave it to those that were in need. And I shared that with everybody here on my channel and on Facebook. Those in the lower community sections that didn't even have insurance, the black neighborhoods, the places where they were just barely getting by and surviving, then lost everything. We were blessed to have a little savings account. Sadly, my wife's mother passed away during that time, and she left my wife an inheritance. And we were able to use that money as well to stay above float, to stay above the water, so to speak. Thankfully, I had USA insurance for our vehicles that were lost in the flood, one that was lost during the first hurricane, two that were lost during the first hurricane. Also, as we were living in an RV in our driveway, waiting to try and get our house built when the flood came and went up in the RV and destroyed it too. And USA was quick to replace all our vehicles in the RV. And finally, the money came through to repair the flood damage. That was paid for. Your flood insurance, if you don't know this, is paid through the federal government. And that was $90,000. But what good's it do to replace your carpet and your flooring, especially if you have wood flooring like we did, and your walls that are destroyed by the water, and all your appliances and all your stuff? I mean, we lost everything on the first floor of the house. What good's it do to replace any of that if your roof is still destroyed and wide open, and more weather coming in and destroying the rest of it more and more and more? So all that money had to go to repair that roof. And we're still in a court battle today over this. The state, as most states, have a group that comes in to determine if the bankruptcy is legit, and if so, they let them file the bankruptcy, and they did in this case. It was called America's Insurance out of New Orleans, Louisiana. Shout out to them for being a horrible, horrible, despicable pieces of crap. And the state puts in another insurance company to come in and take over that. And then they filed bankruptcy before any of us got paid. And then sadly, other storms hit after those that affected us and other parts of the state. And currently, right now, as I speak, let's just take Lake Charles, Louisiana, where we got the two hurricanes and the flood. Everybody forgot about Lake Charles. The news media left. President Trump came down right after it happened and promised that we're going to take care of everybody here. Nothing happened. Biden gets elected. Biden came down. We're going to take care of everybody here. The government's here to help you. Nothing happened. You know who helped out the people of Lake Charles? The Red Cross, church organizations, nonprofits. They all came together and fed us, literally, cooked us meals. We stood in line and got whatever they had. Lake Charles, Louisiana looked like a fucking atomic bomb went off in it. It was destroyed, and today it is not recovered. Over a quarter of the homes in that city lost their insurance because their insurance company has filed bankruptcy. And most of those people were not as blessed as me and my wife were and didn't have any way to back it up. They just had to walk out and leave their shit and let it be condemned. And they were just screwed over. The federal government didn't come to help Lake Charles, Louisiana. There's blue roofs all over the place right now, houses with tarps. So as I told you all about that, and as I shared that on social media, and I did videos, you can go back and look at them right here on YouTube, where I did a video the day we walked, literally about 5 hours after the eye of Laura moved through. I was there at our house looking at this devastation everywhere, and I filmed that on my camera and showed it to you all. And there's more and more devastation happen with the next hurricanes and tornadoes and the flood. patriots band together to help me. And I didn't need the help. But I was not going to turn that down because I knew who did need the help. And we saw to it that those families, the ones we could help, were taken care of. And that's what patriots do. We step up and we help each other. That should be the same thing for all Americans. But anybody that's ever experienced weather devastation in this country can tell you the difference between Democrat areas and Republican areas. In Lake Charles, Louisiana, our entire city council, all of it, were Democrats. We did have a Republican mayor. The state, a Democrat governor. And nothing got accomplished. Nothing. It's still to this day a fucking shithole that I'm so glad I got my family out of. And we did everything we could to help those that couldn't help themselves. But anybody can tell you that's went through this, what we did, and this happens all the time across America, whether it's tornado outbreaks or floods, that if it's Democrat-controlled areas, hang it up. You know what some of the money that the state gave Lake Charles did with it? What this city council did with that money? You ready for this? They put in new sidewalks. While people are living in tents under bridges and have no place to go because their house is destroyed, they spent thousands and thousands of dollars replacing sidewalks. That's what Democrats do across this country. Remember that the next time you vote. Folks, you have any place you can be tonight, chose to be here with me, and for all of that, I am forever grateful. Check this out. Next Tuesday will be my last show before we go into the Christmas holidays. And after the Christmas holidays, I will immediately be back. And then, of course, as I told you recently, my wife and I are going to be jetting off to the beautiful islands of Hawaii to celebrate our 10th anniversary. And while we're there, I will do a live broadcast as well as lots of video to show you, or those of you who have never had the opportunity to go to the Hawaiian Islands, the beauty that's there. I was once stationed there in the Army, and I loved it. I left there in 93, and then I went back in 96 on vacation. This will be my wife's first time to go there. And I want to show you the Arizona Memorial. I want to show you all the different things that I have had the blessing to be able to see, and that I will be able to show my wife. And I want to be able to share that in American history with all of you, because I think it's important. There are many people that aren't as blessed as I am, and I recognize that, and I know that. That's why I do everything I can to try and help out fellow patriots. Hope you all have a wonderful evening, a wonderful weekend. Whatever you're doing, please be safe. Remember, the FBI is warning there's going to be a new terrorist attack coming real soon, and they do believe it's going to be over this coming holiday. Malls, airports, churches, large gatherings are targets for domestic terrorism. And sadly, because our southern border is wide open for everybody to come in, and we know terrorists have come across that border because we've caught many, there's many here waiting to kill us. Thank you, Joe Biden and Democrats, for allowing that to happen. You pathetic, no good POSs. As always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving in the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders, and their families. Please say a prayer for our Blue and Gold Star families, our Angel families, and our country. And if you do not know what Angel families are, or Blue and Gold Star families, please Google that. They need our support now more than ever before, because this current administration is pissing on the graves of their loved ones and laughing about it. Take care. God bless. And I'll see you all again next Tuesday. If anything breaks out between now and then, I'll do a video about it or do a live show about it. Other than that, enjoy your evening and welcome to the weekend starting tomorrow. God bless everyone. Thank you for tuning in tonight.